All right. Okay, welcome everyone to CMURC Strategize Me session. I'm excited to have Mr. Kevin Watkins and his colleague on for the planning for a healthy business with Comerica today. So if you have any questions, please make sure you put those in the chat. They'll go through the presentation first. And you have any questions, we will be able to take you off mute later on in the presentation and you can ask your questions then. So I will also be putting the workbook in the chat. So please look for that here shortly. And I will turn it over to you, Kevin.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Courtney. We appreciate you. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Kevin Watkins, and I am the External Affairs Manager for Michigan here at Comerica Bank. And I also have my colleague, Lakeisha Shelton. So Lakeisha, I'll let you introduce yourself first, and then I'll get into the presentation.
All righty. Hello, everyone. My name is Lakeisha Shelton. I am the National Community Development Program Manager, and I focus on creating strategies and building relationships related to CRA, small business lending, and HMDA lending, which is your mortgage lending and finances. I've been in banking for close to 30 years, so I do have some experience in helping individuals and businesses reach their financial goals and financial dreams.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for that so much. So I've been at Comerica for 20 years this year. And as I stated before, I'm the external affairs manager. I manage our relationships with our nonprofit community partners. And I help in regards to grant funding, sponsorship funding. I also coordinate all of our financial education sessions and initiatives at the bank as well. And I work alongside Lakeisha, and we try to adhere to CRA, which is short for the Community Reinvestment Act, because all federally insured banks have an obligation to give, lend, and to serve in the communities in which we operate. And we have a focus with our low to moderate income communities and also our small business communities that have annual revenues of $1 million or less. So we like to partner with organizations that focus in financial education, career and workforce development, affordable housing, and health and human services. So that's essentially what I help to manage here at the bank. It's a very rewarding job. I love doing events like this. So hopefully you will find some benefit from it. And with that said, let's get right into the presentation. So this is called Planning for a Healthy Business. And for those of you that are in the, you are in the thick of it right now. You have your own business. You are operating. Even if you're not operating, you understand the difficulty that comes with it. The many challenges that come about. So it's imperative that you have a functioning plan. So when certain situations and issues arise, you can follow that plan, or at least have some sort of a guidebook to how you'll manage and make your decisions, right? Um, so and I may have said this during the last session, I may not have, but there is the president of a local uh, CDFI, which is a community development financial institution. And he said the issue that he sees a lot of businesses make is they make business plans so they can get a loan, when in actuality, you should be making a business plan and really use that to run your business. So we're going to go through all of these different steps, but as you are creating your business plans, or even if you've already created a business plan, you really want to make that as real world as possible. What's going to happen when these certain situations come up in regards to sales, in regards to operations? How are you going to acquire new customers? How are you going to price your products and your services accordingly, and appropriately, right? So you really just want to have all of that fleshed out, and that's really going to help guide your decision making. and hopefully that'll help you make better decisions as you go through the process. In addition to my time as the external affairs manager, I am also our national African American business development manager, and really my goal is to foster relationships within the African American community, and help business owners, help entrepreneurs meet their goals, their financial goals. In previous to my current roles, I used to be a banking center manager. Lakeisha used to be a banking center manager as well. And one of our goals was to help our entrepreneurs and our business owners through our products and services, through uh, just various methods and resources that we have. So hopefully we'll be able to share some good information with you. All right, so let's get right into it, and we'll skip the pretest for now. What you can do is Courtney is going to share that participant guide with you. So if you want to take a look at that test, the post test, once we're finished, then please take a look at that, and we can you can assess your knowledge. So this is the agenda. We'll start at the case study. So we'll talk about Sophia and her planning process. We'll do a few introductions, and we'll try to see where you are in your planning process. And then we'll talk about the four-step planning model, and then we'll have a summary and evaluation. So learning objectives include explaining how an evolving planning process can help you make key decisions as business owners, describe how to convert a vague idea into a resource plan, also the importance of a healthy personal credit score and healthy relationships with lenders. That's going to be key. And then describe how a business plan can help you motivate stakeholders to understand and support your business ideas. Something we like to consider that as a value statement, right? What is your value statement or your elevator pitch? Elevator pitch back in the day, you think of an employee, they're in the elevator with the CEO of the organization, and you have 15 to 30 seconds with that person. What's your value statement? What have you been working on? What How do you stand out from the competition, right? So that's essentially how you have to think of it. And whenever you have an opportunity to talk about your business, and we'll give you a few, please talk about your business. I remember being out to lunch with a business owner, one of our clients or prospects, and she was selling the waitresses, right? She had cosmetic supplies, and she was selling them to the waitresses. So there are people that are that aggressive. You may be that aggressive, you may not be, but you have to feel comfortable at least talking about your business and sharing why your business is different, what differentiates you from the competition. You'll also explain the benefits of creating a day-to-day action plan for running a small business as well. All right. So let's meet Sophia. So this is really in the participant guide, but I'll go ahead and read it. So say hello to Sophia, the mother of two smart and hungry teenagers. Sophia has an idea to start a business repairing cell phones and small appliances. Her sons and several friends think this is a terrific idea, but Sophia has to plan. She needs to figure out how she will make money and how she will finance or pay for her startup costs. Sophia needs to complete 4 steps in her planning. At each step, she asks and answers specific questions. As she progresses through the steps, the questions get more specific and the answers become much more detailed. It took Sophia more than 2 years until she was able to quit her day job and begin to work full time for herself. As we review Sophia's planning process, you can begin to apply these 4 steps to your own business. All right. So let's think about some of these questions. So how can Sophia make her new cell phone repair business a success? She will complete 4 planning steps over a 2-year period. As her business grows, her planning approaches will change. And as we review her planning process, relate the 4 planning steps to your business. All right. So let's proceed here. So you think about where you are in your planning. So there is a worksheet on page 5. So when you have the opportunity to do that, please go ahead and complete that worksheet for your business. For each planning stage, record if you have already completed that stage, if you are currently working on it, or if you have not yet started. And then please remember there are no wrong answers. All right. So I think what I want to do now is maybe talk to like 2 or 3 of you and see, and maybe tell me your name, your business, what you do, and where you are in your planning stage. Have you started? Do you have a complete business plan? Do you have some of your business plan? And then really what you want to get out of the presentation. So go ahead and take yourselves off of mute. And I'm trying to remember, do we have the ability to do that right now? We might have to
I,
wait until the end.
yeah, we might have to wait till the end. However, if
Okay,
they raise their hand, I can take them off mute. But we would like to typically get through the presentation and then ask questions at the end.
got it. Got it. Thank you. I forgot for a moment, so thank you for reminding me. Okay, so yeah, we'll come back to that. So this is an overview of the 4-step planning model. All right, so this is going to be on page 6 in your participant guide. So it's actually going to be a fantastic way for you to figure out what you have accomplished and what you need to do next. So when you look at the guide on page 6, each step is going to require you to ask and answer some key questions. So as your business grows and changes, the types of planning you need to complete will also change. We will spend most of this class exploring these 4 steps. No matter where you are in your planning, this is where you need to be. Some of you might be in the early stages while others are at the business or action plan stage. Those of you who have already done some planning can be great resources for those who are just getting started. All right, so when you look at this step 1, so that's the back of the napkin plan, go or no go. So this is really where you're going to do some of your preliminary research, your planning. You're going to find out self-assessment, is business ownership a good fit? You know, if you like your 9 to 5, if you like being able to punch out, go home and not worry about work or anything like that, business ownership might not be the best thing for you, because oftentimes you are going to work much harder for yourself than you will working for someone else. Now, the benefits on the back end are going to be there. Once you have your business up and running, it's successful, it's eventually able to operate without you, then yeah, it will definitely be rewarding. You'll have financial stability, you'll have more time, etc. But when you're getting it off the ground, when you're putting in that work, it's going to be a lot of effort. So you have to determine, is this going to be a good fit for me, right? And maybe it might be an option where you still keep your full-time job, but then you have a business on the side. Um, if that's the plan you want to take, you just have to take the proper steps and the proper planning to make sure that you can do that. Outside of the bank, that's something that I do. I actually have a real estate brokerage. I'm a real estate broker. So I do have an agent that works for me in real estate. So I have the full-time job at Comerica, but then I also have a real estate brokerage on the side. So I don't consider that your traditional small business. I think more of small business as you have actual employees. Um, the business is running whether or not you are there. So I don't consider myself fully engrossed in the small business experience, but um, a lot of the things that I've done are similar: creating a logo, creating brand recognition, uh, establishing a website, establishing Google so people can Google my business, people can review my business. Um, just having some of those same characteristics as a small business, I can relate to. All right. So first, figure out, is it good for you? Do your preliminary research. Is somebody doing the same thing as you? Right. And if they are, what's going to be different about you? How are you going to be able to outshine them or be able to take market share from them? All right. Step 2, your resource plan. What do I need? What do I need to go? Right? So you want to create an opening balance worksheet and then also begin a long-term relationship with the banker. So when you think about going into the bank, a lot of bankers, they do have resources. They have resources to products, to services, and you might need to essentially shop around and see which bank or credit union, which financial institution is going to be best for you. Where do you see a good fit? Right? If you go somewhere and it seems like everyone is new, they may not understand your needs or they may not understand their products and services, that might not be the best fit for you. So you may have to go to a few different places to figure out where you truly belong. When you think about an opening balance worksheet, you're going to look at what are you starting with? What resources do you have? And then just kind of go from there. So step 3, your actual business plan. How will I finance my business? All right. So that's when you do a little more research, a little more planning. You get more detail with your financials. So you take a look at where is the money going to come from. Uh, Take a look at collaborating with bankers and investors. For startup organizations, traditional bank financing is going to be very difficult. So Comerica is a traditional bank. When you think about a lot of your banks that you see commercials, you see advertisements, a lot of those are your traditional banks. And if you are within the first year of business, it's going to be very difficult for financing. Now, you may be able to get business credit cards. You may be able to wait a year, and after a year, you may be able to get financed through a traditional bank, and they can partner with the SBA, the Small Business Administration. That could be a possibility for you, but you just have to talk to as many bankers as possible, try to find that best fit. And then oftentimes a CDFI, a community development financial institution, that may be where you get some of your startup capital from, along with business credit cards, your personal income, and maybe some of your investors, right? They could be friends, it could be family, it could be actually a venture capitalist. So there are very many different ways that you can finance your business. And then your actual action plan. How will you manage a healthy business? So it says update a living document that changes with the times. So that can be your um actual business plan, but when you look at ownership of your business and also management, you think about like an LLC, a limited liability company. So a limited liability company, they have something called an operating agreement. That operating agreement is going to detail who are the members of this LLC, and the members are essentially the owners. Who are the managers of this LLC? So these are the people that are actually managing the organization. So you have your business plan, but then you also have the additional documentation that it's legal documentation, right? It's something that's going to be needed for your business, because if an owner of the business dies, or they become incapacitated, or there's a dispute, and any of this has to be taken in front of a judge and taken into court, that is going to be the information that they are relying upon to make a decision upon how that business is going to proceed. So it's really important that you have all of this information, um, uh, not necessarily settled, but you have to start thinking about it, right? And then really the best partners for you, of course, they're going to be your bankers, they're going to be your accountants, they're going to be your lawyers. So if you really need all three, you need a banker, an accountant, and a lawyer. Those three will probably be some of your best friends, right, as you enter into this business arrangement. All right, so let's go back to Sophia's planning process. So Sophia, she actually needed more than 2 years to get to step 4. So some steps may overlap with others. So Sophia actually started action planning before her business plan was complete. She will never stop action planning because each day brings new challenges as her business grows and changes. So now let's take a quick look at these 4 steps or the planning stages. All right, so step 1, the back of the napkin plan. So page 7 in the participant guide, it has this example of that back of the napkin plan. So when you are just getting started, it's normal that your ideas are vague and perhaps a bit disorganized. Some ideas might just be in your head and not written down at all. You might have lists on the back of envelopes, on table napkins, or on scraps of paper. It also lists some step 1 planning questions. Some of you might have already asked and answered these questions. You will not have time to do this now, but make time to answer these questions later on. So think about this first question. What benefits, monetary and non-monetary, do I want to get from my business? Is the focus of another module in the Money Smart series, is business ownership a good fit for you? All right, so we kind of alluded to that earlier, but her back of the napkin plan, she wants to fix smartphones, tablets, and appliances, maybe later. What is her credit score? Does she need a website? Who is her competition? Who can help her find answers? And is she ready for all of this? So these may be questions that all of you may have had, you may have it now. But yeah, this is a good start, right? This is a really good start to her business plan. So the business plan is going to address all of these questions. All right, so let's go to the next question. And we talked a little bit about this. What benefits do I want to get from my business? What size business do I need to build to achieve those benefits? Have I identified a real business opportunity on which I can capitalize? And what assets do I need to purchase, rent, or lease? And who will I need to hire? So you can utilize this as homework. Take a look at the prices of your competitors to figure out what you can charge for similar products or services. Ask vendors for prices and terms. Also interview other business owners. Make sure to ask how long it took before they could pay themselves. Their answers can guide your choices and decisions. At this early stage, the more you know about the long-term challenges of business ownership, the better. Yeah, my recommendation there, of course, you want to ask someone that is going to have your best interest at heart. If it's a competitor, they might not, or a potential competitor, they might not answer truthfully because they might see you as a threat, right? They might see you as a new entrant into the marketplace in which they are operating. And they might say, no, this is terrible. I would have never did this. But truth be told, like, they're making money hand over fist, right? So you really just want to connect with business owners, entrepreneurs that have your best interest at heart and is going to be truthful and honest with you. All right. Sorry. All right. So let's look at Sophia's resource plan. So you can look at pages 8 and 9 of your participant guide for some questions to answer at the beginning of the planning process. So these are some of her costs. So space, equipment, and supplies for her first 6 months of business, $18,250. Skill development, $1,100. So I'm assuming there's going to be some just doing the technical aspects of cell phone repair that she needs to pay to learn. Staff, accountant and bookkeeper, $1,200. Insurance and taxes, $450. So estimated total is $21,000. It says here living expenses are not included in a resource plan. All right. So you can definitely do this for yourself. So you'll know, at least for the first 6 months, this is the amount of money that you need. All right. We have something in the chat. So let's go to the chat. Okay. Just trying to get the participant guide. Got it.
Yep, we're just trying to get the participant guide going. I think we got it handled.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right. So in the participant guide, it says here, so good news, a few months have passed and Sophia has done some research. She refined her initial idea and has decided to specialize in repairing cell phones, iPads, and tablets. She might expand into small appliance repair later. To get to this point, she asked some colleagues who already have businesses for advice. She went to a local women's business center and got help thinking through her business model. Sophia took a course to learn more about what she needed to do to get ready. Best of all, she began a resource plan to record how much money she would need to open her doors and to keep operating for at least 6 months. At the first step of the planning process, a ballpark dollar figure was okay. In step two, the numbers need to be a little more specific. All right, so, and then we have her resource plan here. All right. So a resource plan it's a shopping list for space, equipment, and supplies. It also lists estimated costs for skill development, staff, and other expenses necessary to open and run a business for about 6 months. As you see in the participant guides on page 8 and 9, Sophia estimated the resources she needed to be $21,000. She can provide $7,000 of owner's equity, which is her own money, and needs to raise $14,000. A rule of thumb, borrow no more than 200% of the money you invest in your own business. So you do want to use Sophia's sample when you complete your own resource plan on your own time. Okay. Yeah, a lot of this information. Let's come down here. All right, so here's a few ideas for resource planning. So when you look at it, you want to take a look at really everything on this list. Interview stakeholders, competitors, other business owners for ideas. But like I said before, as far as the competitors are concerned, I would take it with a grain of salt, because if they deem you are a competitor, they may mislead you. So you just want to be careful regarding that. Earlier in the example, it noted that she spoke to colleagues. So yeah, if you're able to speak to colleagues that you have good rapport with, that's something I would recognize. But when you look at competitors, they may or may not be truthful, right? So um, always think about that. Think about your ideal locations. Do you want to buy? Do you want to rent? You may have to rent starting off. It may not be feasible for you to purchase a location, but if that opportunity comes up, then that's definitely something that you want to take a look at. Trying to locate discounted equipment and supplies is going to be much cheaper than buying new. Pros and cons of buying in bulk. So, if you do buy in bulk, you have to be able to move that inventory. If you can't move that inventory, that will affect your cash flow, because you have a lot of your cash tied up in that inventory and it's not moving. So that's something you want to think about as well. But when you do buy in bulk, you'll probably get it at a discount, right? So you have to make uh, calculated estimations regarding how soon you can turn over your inventory. Think about fair wages and benefits for employees. If you're not keeping up with fair wages, nobody's going to want to work for you. All right. If they can go to their competitor or your competitor and make $20 an hour, and you're only paying, $10 or $12, it'll most likely be difficult for you to find employees, at least employees that will want to stay, right? You also want to think about taxes, federal, state, local, and sales taxes. Consider insurance. You want to think about liability insurance for your building. You want to think about renter's insurance if you're renting. You want to think about business insurance overall for a building if you are purchasing a property, in case there's any damage or anything that happens. Paying for services like website design and hosting, paying more upfront or paying higher monthly installments. I mean, this is something that's crept into our lives in so many different ways. Like I bought a new vehicle for the first time in a very long time this past summer, and internet access is required. And after so many years, they're going to make me pay for it on a monthly basis. So as you're thinking about your business, you're going to have internet most likely. So you'll have internet. Are you going to pay for it on monthly installments? Or are you going to pay for it all up front? Even your insurance, are you going to pay for it all up front or in monthly installments, everything like that? And then ask yourself, are you ready to go to the next step? Right? Oh, I went way too fast. Okay. Now, I think at this stage, I will pass it to Lakeisha. Lakeisha, are you ready?
Am I ready to go to the next step with my businesses? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So, the business plan, that's a very crucial document. It's like the roadmap or the blueprint for your business. And basically, what that would allow for you to do is to tell your story of how your idea or your dream came alive. You can position this business plan as a way to convince others to buy into your vision of your business, to convince them and propel them to invest in you, to lend money to you, to partner with you. And it also helps to project 3 years out. So you're not only thinking about the immediate aspects of running a business, but it actually builds a long term, stable plan on what your business could be in the future. So that can include financial projections, that can include market analysis, different trends that may impact your business. And basically, the benefit and the goal of the business plan is not only to create it to borrow money, but really it is helping you to reinforce what your vision and your mission is of your business. I think for me, being a person who realizes the importance of human behavior and human engagement, I think also you may want to factor in different aspects as it relates to people. Not only the customers that you're seeking to get your business growth from, but the actual individuals who's going to help you run your business and to help your business be successful. So Sophia's business plan something that her and her family worked very hard on. One aspect that she considered was her credit score, not only her personal credit score, but she's thinking about how she can build her business credit score. So one of the benefits of connecting with your bankers, you have the opportunity to sit down with an individual who specializes in banking services. And usually coming from the banking center background, working as a retail individual, those folks usually know a little bit about a lot of things. And quite often they partner and they build relationships with experts. So many times you'll find that your banking center contact would be the best person to make recommendations to you about your accountant, about a business service that maybe a merchant processing service and things of that nature. Um, and the way that AI is set up now, you can actually leverage Chat GPT and other AI sources to help you write your business plan. And sharing your business plan with those mentors or people that you trust with your information is definitely is an important thing to do when you're thinking about the process.
So Lakeisha, I'm actually going to I'm gonna read something from the participant guide, just in case
Okay.
you don't have it. So this is an update on Sophia. Completing a resource plan helped Sophia to refine her ideas. For example, she discovered that she needed more money to start and operate her business than she first guesstimated. As part of her homework, she talked with a bank officer who encouraged her to raise her credit score. To determine this, they looked at Sophia's credit history. The officer encouraged Sophia to start writing a business plan and to be ready to prove she has collateral, usually equity in a house or condo. Sophia needed to reduce her credit card debt. She explained the situation to her kids. They agreed to eat out less often and buy fewer clothes. The older son got a part time job. They got a cheaper phone plan. Sophia cut back on designer coffee and online shopping. I don't know what designer coffee is, but okay. These changes took time and were not easy, and they added up. Within a year, Sophia was able to pay off her credit cards and put more money into her savings. She improved her credit score. During this time, Sophia also worked on several drafts of a business plan. To learn how to do this, she took a course at a community center. A mentor coached her on how to write some parts of the plan. When her business plan was ready, she shared it with some close friends and extended family. They were impressed with her ideas and realistic goals. Together, they pooled their money and loaned her the startup funds she needed to open her business doors. So that's it.
All righty. Let's see. Did you want me to go over the financial support?
Please, yes.
Okay. All righty. So a lot of business owners are, have limited knowledge as it relates to different ways that they can raise capital to start their business. But this outlines various opportunities as you as a business owner could raise capital for your business. So angel investors are basically private investors or individuals who are looking to invest in your idea, in your product, or your service. Bootstrapping is basically leveraging your own personal credit or cash or your family members to get your business idea up and running. Crowdsourcing, you can create something on the platform to ask different strangers if they are looking to invest in your business. Again, family members and friends, which typically most small business owners usually start from that, leveraging their family members and friends. Incubators are groups of individuals who come together and collaborate to raise funds to start their business. Again, local, state, and economic development organizations such as your CDFIs, your MDIs, have different programs that you can take advantage of. Peer-to-peer lending, basically, it's you're identifying individuals who may have a like business or like mindset that you could reach out to and collaborate and gather funds for your business. Of course, small business loans. So traditional loans from financial institutions and or credit unions are a good source of capital. And venture capital. So again, finding private investors who are definitely interested in your business and your ideas and is looking to invest and helping you raise funds. All righty. So what does it mean to be strategic? So when you're thinking about starting a business, being strategic means that you should not just be thinking about how you're going to turn a profit if you do profit within the first years, but basically you're considering long-term sustainability. What are you going to need at each phase of the process to help your business not only grow, but sustain based on the economic and market conditions. So again, the planning process is definitely going to be essential for you, and creating that business plan can help you identify any opportunities where you may need to create a system where you have to pivot or plan for changes. SWOT analysis, so taking an assessment of the internal aspects of your business as it relates to operations, costs, financials, and different things of that nature. You have to be willing to learn from your mistakes. I think one of the benefits of partnering not only with bank personnel or someone from a CDFI is there's a lot of programs and technical assistance that's available to help you be successful. So you never really have to feel like you're alone because the information and the resources are out there. In any business that you start, you definitely want to factor in risk. So usually there's a lot of risk associated when running a business. Typically with a small business, you have to factor in insurance. So liability insurance, again, depending on the type of business that you have. Or the product or services that you're selling. If you're an entrepreneur, for an example, Kevin, you talked about you're a broker. Being a broker means you're managing other real estate salespeople. I'm sure that there's insurance that you have to maintain. Any event your employees make the wrong decision, you don't want to put your business at risk. Other things that you have to think about with risk, like economic and regulatory risk. So if your business is aligned with any type of thing that's relating to health or FDIC or any type of thing that's partnered with the government, usually they're going to require some certifications that you may have to qualify for, or some additional things to help protect your business and protect the consumer. So again, the action plan of that roadmap of the business plan will make sure that you are in line with the different stages that your business may grow from.
Yes. And then, so there's an update on Sophia.
Okay,
All right.
let's look.
So Sophia has been in business for a while now. She has great customers and she is able to meet her financial obligations, rent, utilities, and loan payments. Sophia's even able to pay herself a small working wage. She is doing great. To keep up the great work, Sophia's planning needs to change again. Now she needs to increase her customer base to maintain and grow her success. What Sophia needs now is an action plan that can help her identify smart goals, some deadlines, and a specific plan on who is responsible for what. She also needs to plan how she will finance the resources she needs to meet her goals. Some of the tasks need to be managed by Sophia. These are the tasks that make the best use of her time. Other tasks are best outsourced to others, such as her assistant. By prioritizing her tasks, Sophia can focus on what is most important in her business and free up time to achieve some work and life balance.
All right, I'm switching back and forth between the screens to try to stay on track. All right, so this is Sophia's action plan. All righty. I think, okay, so SMART goals, I'm sure that most of you are aware of what SMART goals are. Usually that's an acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So anytime that you create a goal, you want to make sure that the goals are SMART. Let's see. So one of her SMART goals was to achieve an average monthly customer count of 500 within 3 months. So she's looking to get 500 customers every month. So for an example, a task that she set was to advertise her business in a journal, in a business journal. She also set a task to increase social media outreach, to identify effective marketing opportunities. And how she's going to measure that specifically is if she was to gain 400 customers in 1 month, she's looking to gain an additional 450 in month 2, and then by month 3, a total of 500. So she's planning on doing these different tasks by September. And she's going to leverage resources afforded to her by, for an example, using $300 to take out the ad. And let's see, going to the coffee shops, updating her website, and setting different cadences in her social media posts. Another SMART goal that Sophia set for herself is to reduce her rental costs by 10% by the end of the year. All right, so some things that she factored in was to negotiate the terms with her landlord and to work with an attorney to draw up a contract. So she's going to measure her success by getting a 10% reduction for a 2-year lease. So she's planning on achieving this particular goal by December 31st. So she's going to do some research, put the work in to figure out what it's going to cost her to reach this goal.
All right, ready for the next one?
Yeah, we can only see two, so you might have to move your screen, adjust your screen. Go to the next page. All right,
How's
so we
that?
talked about what SMART goals are. So just like Sophia did, she's going to identify what her goal is precisely. She's going to use good measurements to know if and when her goal is completed. She's going to make sure that the goals are attainable, and any resources that she will need, she's going to identify that to make sure that she reaches her goal. She's going to make sure that the goal is relevant to her business, something that she can control. And then she's going to make sure that the goal is time-based, meaning that there's a completion date or a time frame set around the goals that she's looking to achieve. You have any more recommendations for SMART goals, Kevin, when running a business?
Yeah, I mean this I think this encompasses the overall theme. So yeah, I don't really have anything to add.
Okay. All right. So basically, there's really more than one way to create a business plan. There's multiple ways that you can actually run your business as an entrepreneur. The planning process really is beneficial in helping you to refine your ideas and prevent errors. In the beginning, when you're thinking about the planning process, I will also want to add that you definitely want to make sure that you clearly identify your goals and your mission for your business. That'll make it a lot easier. I think also incorporating any plans for changes that may arise with your business. So again, whether you're selling yourself as a service or you actually have trinkets you're selling as a product, think about the various factors that goes into running your business. So for an example, if you have to leverage a supplier or a vendor, that can impact your business. So definitely making sure you plan as much as possible. Take the time out to write out your business plan. So whether you're using a pencil and the paper, if you're using your computer or some type of electronic device, make sure that you are taking the time to write your business plan out. Kevin mentioned engaging your stakeholders in the process. So your stakeholders are trusted individuals that either is within the business field currently. It could be your banker, it could be a family member or a friend or an accountant or an attorney. So making sure that you are engaging those stakeholders early in the process and asking them what worked and what didn't work. And ultimately, when you're looking to get investments, there's things that need to go into play with that. Definitely one factor is your personal credit score and determining different ways that you can start a business credit score for yourself. So being strategic and ensuring a healthy business definitely starts with the business plan, but also it can start with you too. If you really determine what your skill set are, what your strengths are, that can definitely help you witness more success in your business and help you prepare for any unforeseen challenges. Are there some updates with Sophia? Did she do anything special? Let's see.
No updates.
Okay.
Oh, there's some more benefits and risks of planning.
Yes. All right. So basically, let me look that back here. Okay. All right. So the benefits, of course, of planning is knowing where you are and where you're going. So knowing where you are now, what your skill sets are, gathering your resources and determining a plan of action on where you need to be. The benefits of planning also can save you time. It can save you money. Making sure that you ask great questions, not only of your mentors, but of your bankers and anyone you're going into partnership with. developing stakeholders in the process, again, building up that team that can help you in making your business a success. Making logical decisions. I think making logical decisions really is based around, are you asking the right questions? Are you asking good questions again? So making logical decisions is can be valuable if you're asking the right questions from the right people. Measuring your progress and tangible goals. So again, setting SMART goals, identifying KPIs for success, not just for your business, but if you hire employees, what are their SMART goals? What will success look like for your employees to help your business grow and be sustainable? Focus on finances. Focus on finances and focus on finances. So for me, as a banker, finances is something as simple as having a business account and keeping your transactions separate. So you may feel intimidated when you hear about P&Ls and ratios and things like that. But if you have a separate business account from your personal account, that's the first step to success. And then there's some risk. You can definitely waste time and money if you're not planning. You can do too much and miss opportunities. So if you have a business where you have the opportunity to hire employees, making sure that you delegate tasks, you can risk burning out, especially if it's just you. If you're a team of me, you're the only person running your business. So that's something that you have to factor in. You don't want to confuse or alienate your investors. So that's being too much in your thoughts, keeping your ideas and information to yourself. So again, asking the right questions and trusting the right people to share your information with. And then if you fail to do the math, if you don't quantify your success in practical business terms, that could be a risk of failure. So those are some things that you want to consider as it relates to starting and operating your small business. All right, so we have some time to open it up for any questions that you can place in the chat. We'd be more than happy to try to answer those for you. Or if there's anything that you didn't know before that you think you may incorporate into your business, you can share those ideas in the chat as well.
Yeah, go ahead and utilize that chat if you have any questions, or if you want to talk about anything with Kevin and Lakeisha, please raise your hand and I can remove your mute and go from there. Sandra, she stated, if you'd like, you can talk if you'd like, Miss Sandra. You can take yourself off mute.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. This
Good
has been
afternoon.
really informative, and I've been taking notes the whole time. But you mentioned a credit score and a business score. How do you get a business score?
Yeah. So
Kevin? No.
yeah, essentially when you look at, first of all, you want to make sure that your personal score, you have a good personal score first. That's really what we'll focus on, because when you look at getting like a business credit card or even a loan at a traditional bank, a lot of times you're going to have to personally guarantee that loan, and your
Mhm.
personal credit score is going to be a factor. So that's really like the first thing you can do. When you look at business credit, now when you do take out business credit, um, so if you take out a loan from a bank, like a business loan, a business credit card, it's in the name of your business. If you're utilizing uh, uh, any credit from your vendors, right? That, as long as it gets reported to the credit bureaus, like your Dun and Bradstreet, um, any one of those business credit scoring models, then that will improve your business credit score. So my recommendation, first work on your personal credit, make sure that that's good. And then after you've done that, focus on taking out business credit that will help your business score. And that's going to be any loan from like a traditional financial institution, um, or even like your vendor loans. right? Like if they extend lines of credit to you, but they have to report it because there may be some vendor loans they don't report it, so that doesn't necessarily help, right? So yeah, just ensure whatever business loans you take out, it impacts your business credit score. That's how you can improve it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, what would you consider as a good credit score? So personally, every different financial institution, they're going to have different definitions, or different underwriting guidelines as to uh what their good credit score is. So when you look at personal credit, so I'll say this. So to get a mortgage, for example, so to get a mortgage, you need a 620 or higher, for the most part, right? So I would consider that, I would say that's good because you can start being approved for things, but there may be other items, like let's say a business credit card. A business credit card, like you can be a brand new business, just started yesterday, you just got your tax ID number, and they'll base it off of your personal credit score. If you have that 620, you try to get that business credit card, it may or may not go through depending on the underwriting guidelines of that financial institution that you work with. Now they may have such items like a secure credit card, like there may be a secured business credit card, and then that's where you put up a certain amount of money, and then so let's say it's $1,000, you can put up $1,000, the bank holds it, and then they give you a line of credit or a credit card for $1,000. And then if you do something like that, it's a secured card, and your credit score doesn't have to be as high. You can actually have a lower score to be approved for that. So it really just depends on the financial institution. Um, so good. So like for a mortgage, I would say 620. For a business credit card, you're probably looking at around a 680 roughly. But different organizations have different requirements. And then when you look at the business credit score, so I'm not as familiar with those. I just know that those go from 0 to 100, right? So your personal scores, it's essentially like 0 to 850, whereas your business scores is 0 to 100. So I'm not too familiar with that, as far as like what good looks like on the business side, but that's where you can go to your local bank or financial institution, and you can talk to them. A lot of banks now have dedicated small business teams. So you can talk to your dedicated small business banker or small business relationship manager, and they should be able to help you with that. I believe we may even have like another presentation that will focus more on the business credit score. But yeah, hopefully that answered part of your question.
Nikki, did you have a follow? Nicole, did you have a follow-up? I did did allow you to speak, so if you wanted to talk. Perfect. Nope, she said she's all set.
Okay, good.
Anything else from the group? Any other questions in the chat? Anything you wanted to discuss? I don't see anything. Looks like you all covered everything and they all understand it.
Excellent.
All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for attending this week's Strategize Me session. It is 3:00, so we'll go ahead and give you some time back to your day. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and meet us back here next week at 2 p.m. for the final session of our 4-part series. Thank
All
you
right.
again,
Thank you.
So
Kevin and
much.
Lakeisha, so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye-bye.
Have a
Take
great
care.
day. Thank
You
you.
too. Bye now.